My name is Avon Collis and I help you leverage yourself with using systems and technology. I'm also an Infusionsoft certified consultant. So ways I help you is to use knowledge management systems and processes to automate your day-to-day. And by doing so, that helps you spend more time taking care of your customers or taking care of yourself, whatever you choose to do and however you choose to spend your time. So here I've just got two models of the average day, and as you can see there is a sustainable and unsustainable version. In the top there's not as much sleep, there's bugger all personal time, quite a bit of admin, mucking around, and not that much in sales. So I help you get to the place where you've got a sustainable amount of sleep, you've got some personal time, some admin and sales, and the little arrow just indicates that you can move that around and decide how much personal time versus sales you want to have. Some examples of systemization are using software that can take the human out of the process, not necessarily to, kill jobs or any of that sort of thing, but to reallocate them from, the mundane day to day so they can start doing more active, proactive things that can help grow the business rather than just, do all the things that you kind of have to do to keep a business ticking along. Using software to remove the need for a physical presence. If you set it up right, you can have it so that it's more like an assistant manager. Daily checklists and operating standards to make sure your outputs are always the same, to the same degree of quality. Checking clear process flows, creating clear process flows and standardizing your product. So, removing redundant processes. One example of that, I went into a business and they had a process that was sign in the purple book. But what exactly does that mean? Where is the purple book? Why do we sign in it? And who signs in it? And at the end of the day, it was completely useless. So we just removed that out of the process. Creating usable data with things like online form design. Instead of having someone have to type it in manually later, why don't we just capture it right the first time? So it's much easier to do it in bulk. You can catch other things like the time of day when people actually input data. So then can we maybe do some demand management over when people are actually filling out forms, for example, or even processing them. Centralized knowledge base for staff and clients to self-solve problems. That way you're not constantly breaking your concentration to go and fix little insignificant things that could have been done very easily via a video such as this one. Online communication platforms, just to try and get out of email so you're not constantly going backwards and forwards, having to write, you put in the subject line, the addressee, and then you're typing out something and you have to top and tail it and put feelings in there. When really, a checkbox or a tick or something to say, yep, done, a notification, done, would have removed all of that and maybe save 5 or 10 minutes. It compounds and saves a lot of time in the long run. So basically the ideal person for me to help is someone who has one or other them themselves and maybe using some subcontractors to do some work, right up into 25 staff. You generally got a turnover of 50,000 to 3 million, or have been in business for 1 year to 5+ years. And have a bit of a contacts list that we can build upon and start to re-engage, and usually between 100 contacts to 10K, 10,000 plus. The marketing budget, you want to actually have a marketing budget so that you're growing and developing your business and you're actively trying to find new or better clients, or even working with the existing ones in a better way, because without an intent to grow, then the service is not really useful. Some of the things that they might be saying, business owner yourself, or someone is help me get more leads for my customers. Help me get repeat and referral business. Help me run my sales and marketing more efficiently, as well as help me solve the people and systems challenges in my business. So some interesting stats here are that there are 79% of all marketing leads are never converted to sales. So if you think about all of the money that you spend on newspaper ads, on print, flyers that go out, billboards, any of that sort of stuff, there's thousands and thousands. And if you're wasting 79%, that is a lot. The next thing is 65% of customers are lost because of indifference, because no one follows up with them, because no one checks in to see what they're actually interested in, what they want to do next. Are they actually interested in, do they want you to help solve their problem? 95% of buyers choose someone who provided content navigating each stage of the buying process. I know when I first bought a house, it was really daunting. If I had someone that told me how to do it, and even a few emails telling me, what each stage, okay, first you've got to go and look at the place. Yep, no worries. Then you've got to maybe do an assessment on some of the features of the property, i.e., is there any easements? Is the plumbing okay? Is the electrics okay? That costs money. Be ready for that. Then I might have been a lot more ready to buy, knowing what the process was, knowing what I was getting myself into, instead of going and finding out last minute that I had to go and get some checks done on the property, which I didn't anticipate or didn't budget for. 70% of purchasing decisions are made to solve a specific problem. So, I talk to businesses and they have a newsletter and they talk about all of the services they provide. And you know what? No one reads newsletters because it's just so much junk in it. What if you could talk to people with what they wanted to know, it was personalized to them, and, you cut the clutter. If you talk to them specifically about what they want to know, about their specific problem, they're more likely to come to you because it feels personal. And, discussing 3 to 4 buyer problems helps to advance the deal. Now, whether that's the next step of, a client discovery meeting, whether that's, going to quote, whether that's actually proceeding with the purchase, you've got an opportunity long before the sale to actually kill off all of those buyer objections before you even get to the point of having to ask for the sale. And that way, when you get to the point of asking for the sale, they go they're less likely to say, oh, it's too expensive, because they know what they're getting for that money. You might be more expensive than the next best person, but you've already got all of the added value that you create listed, and you've told them about it. So when they get to you, they know they're getting a warranty, or they know they're getting extra, careful attention. Nurtured leads make 47% larger purchases than non-nurtured leads. So they're more likely to go for the premium option or the top option or something like that, because or buy 2 or 3 things at once, because they know what they're getting themselves into. So that fear of the unknown is just dramatically reduced. Suppliers that make buying easier, 60% likelier than other suppliers to win high quality sale. That's someone that doesn't kick the tires, that isn't going to haggle on price. They know what they want, they know the quality of what they want to get, and they're willing to pay for it. So, it's an easier customer and a better customer. You have a great relationship with that sort of customer. 82% of customers viewed 5 or more pieces of content before, making the decision to buy. So who's giving them that content? If they're looking themselves, then they might find it's in someone else's, database or website or that sort of thing. But if they're getting it from you in consistent messages that help to educate them, then they're more likely to choose you. And the kicker here, I think, is that businesses that use marketing automation to nurture prospects see a 451% increase in qualified leads. That is massive. And 22% of salespeople don't actually know what a CRM is, which is odd. Now, considering those stats, and sorry to keep throwing stats at you, but 48% of businesses stop at the first contact. That means that someone expressed an interest to buy, they send one big email with everything in it, hoping that something will catch or something will fly with the customer, and then they stop. That's it. They just wait for them to come back, balls in your court sort of thing. Well, unfortunately, that's not where the deals are made. 24% stop after 2 contacts, 12% stop after 3 contacts. But 81% of the magic happens after the 5th email. And only 10% of businesses actually get that far. So if you think of all the big businesses that are out there and how often they contact their customers, that's got to tell you something. So quickly, let's go on a journey here. We've got the sales funnel here. We've got the awareness phase, the interest phase, the decision, and then the action phase. Now, you can break this up into a number of other parts. you can add extra stuff on there. But at the end of the day, that's not necessarily what's going to, make sales for you is having a bigger funnel or any of that sort of stuff. What matters is where the customer is at in their mind about how they're going to buy your product. So here are a few automations that you can use, or just to give you an idea of what automations are possible, that would help you to help your customers through those phases. Here we have a get a free industry specific report and sign up to a seminar. So the goal is to sign up to the seminar, not necessarily to sell them straight away. We're still educating them at this point. So we have an entry form. So they might have got that through, you met them at somewhere, a networking event, you put their details in, and it starts this track. Or, you scan their business card, or you put a lead ad on Facebook and they click into that. They then get an email sequence that asks them to confirm their emails because, sometimes people just put in a whatever address. So you want to filter those people out. Then you have a sequence that leads to asking them if they want a industry report and what industry they would like it. Now, in this one, there is fitness industry, real estate, service, and a general one, which is automation for dummies. So if they don't make a decision, they get put into the automation for dummies, the general one. So they don't miss out just because they didn't make a decision, because you can't guarantee that people are going to follow each step. So you want to try and give them an option to be customized, and they will get a customized message that relates only for them, or still have an opportunity to float them through the sales pipeline. Then there is a request to attend seminar and they want to, or register seminar. And then that happens over a series of days, weeks, until they fill out the form. And if they don't fill out the form, then they're likely to go off into a nurture sequence that will help them to, over the long term, have an opinion of your business that is hopefully positive and has, an educated standpoint of who you are and what you do. Then we move into the interest phase. So we have applied a tag to say that they're interested. There's a few actions after being interested, and one of those is a survey form which says, would you be interested in the low sequence, or sorry, the cheaper product or the more expensive one. The cheaper one in this case was a webinar recording that they could purchase, and the high rating one was a webinar purchase plus a one-on-one coaching session that they would attend. And so did they go through and actually perform the purchase. Then there's the decision phase. So similar again to the last one, they fill out a landing page, they get on there from the website, they go through to a sequence that gets them to make a choice on which session they would like. They get a webinar, they get asked if they want to buy the high one or the low one. If they buy the low one, they get it. They don't get an invite to do the training session. They just get the low end product, and then they get put in the nurture sequence because they may not be ready for the high end product, or they just want a cheaper option to put their toe in the water. So they might come back around later in the future, 3 to 6 months, 2 months, 1 month, 1 week, who knows? But we haven't then forced the next sales pitch down their throat. We've allowed them to buy, be happy, and continue with a positive mindset about your business. And in this scenario, there is a sequence to book a session with them, call them and follow them up, and also make sure that there's a calendar appointment. And then the action phase, what happens after they've taken the action? So, do we want to get return sales? Do we want to ask for referrals? Do we want to launch a referral program so that, they can get money for referring new business? That might work, particularly in the B2B market. Do you want to get some feedback? Perhaps the service didn't go so well. Maybe there's a way that you could improve. Do you want to? Is there a way that we can create loyal customers by just having really good follow-up and making sure they're happy? Talk to them more frequently and stay top of mind. Send a birthday message once a year. Send a quarterly reminder email about something that they need to do. And, they'll at least have your business name, logo, and, a perception about you stored top of mind, ready to go whenever they're sitting around and someone says, I need X service that you provided. They're cheaper to retain. It costs 6 to 8 times more to acquire a new customer than it does to remarket to an existing one. And they're 16 times easier to sell to because they know you, they know what you're about, they know what your service is. And, if you've got a satisfied customer, in this sequence down the bottom, you can ask for a referral. They fill out the form and then it creates a task for you to go and follow up with that referral. So a lot of that work is automated. So here's an example of an email I send. This is the like an introduction sequence. And in the first email, I'm not really selling anything. I'll just say, hey, this is me, this is what I do. Just letting you know, here's my details, have a great day. In the second email, it's, hey, last week you got my other email. Did you have any questions? Would you like me to follow up? Did you want to have a chat about it? Here's a booking link. And in the third email, we've now started to provide a bit of information. We've put in some of the stats, which you saw earlier. And again, there's that booking link. And here's a little bit more stats, and there's the Let's Chat button. And finally, here's a bit of a call to action. It's very simple. If you've got leads like this and you want leads like this, we should talk, book a call. Now, this is the fifth email. I can go a lot more in depth. I can be a little bit more gentle with it, but for the purpose of this discussion, you get the idea. And at any time they click the book now link, even if they're back here in this email, they won't then get this email or this email. So there's no way that they can be nagged, forced into making a decision. And if they don't want to make the decision, fine, they just don't click the button. Now, you can be as complex as you like or as simplistic as you like, but at the end of the day, being targeted, having the right message for the right customer, and having a journey that suits each individual person, that's something we can build and work on over time. That's not something you have to do straight away. So the best idea is to get as many leads as you can into the top of the funnel, to refine them and, discard the waste and try and distill them down into something concentrated that is, high quality, so that you end up with qualified leads that look like this. So drinking from the fountain of money, now you can start to decide if you're going to increase your prices, you can pick and choose your clients, you can turn work away, and maybe you've turned them to a competitor who might come back and, help you out again in the future. But at the end of the day, you're sorted, and that's all that really matters. So that's all. Thank you very much. My name is Avon, and I help you leverage yourself using systems and technology. Thank you very much.